everyone, welcome to the Kindred Essence Tarot and to my latest reading, which is a pick a card reading on what does your pet think about you, or how does your pet feel about you. So think of a pet. This could be a pet that you have currently or a pet that you've even had in the past. Think of that pet and intuit what card: pile 1, the purple flashlight pile; pile 2, the red flashlight pile; pile 3, the green flashlight pile; and pile 4, the orange flashlight pile. So think of a pet, past or present, and then intuit what card is most appropriate for that pet in regards to what your pet thinks about you. So without any further ado, let's get started with this pet themed pick a card reading. All right, pile number 1. Um, Pile number 1. I should also mention my pet sometimes joins me, so that happens. My cat sometimes joins me, so that may or may not happen. We don't know. But pile number 1, without let's get started. Okay, so we've got the 6 of Cups in reverse. We've got the 7 of Pentacles. Um, we've got the, oh wow, 2 work themed. I already got, interesting, when I saw that card, I already got, your pet thinks you work too hard. Interesting. Whether or not this is true, and I should also add, this is from your pet's perspective. So it may or may not get true, because they can have their distortions as much as humans can. Pets can have their distortions as much as we can. So, I mean, oftentimes they can be wise, but sometimes they can have a perspective that's, sometimes it can be human-like, but sometimes it can be, shall we say, different from humans, and sometimes it can be even a little bit distorted. So I'm not speaking to the veracity of your pet's opinion. I am only speaking to what your pet thinks and feels. It's not necessarily true. So let's see. So immediately I got, it's interesting because when I saw this first card, I got, your pet thinks that you work too hard. Interesting. And I'm hearing that's not necessarily true, but it's what your pet feels. And I saw that, and then I heard that before I pulled the 3 of Pentacles. And those are both very work-related cards. They're actually, I'd say, one of the most work-related cards in the deck. So maybe you have Capricorn energy, I don't know. Maybe, like, your pet sees you as being very focused on a project. Either working, and it may not know what that project is. It may not understand it, but it just sees you as being super, super focused. Because, oftentimes our pets, they don't understand. Like, why do we seem focused on these things? And why do we seem, so it sees you as very serious. It feels, I think it feels that you create a very stable base for it. To be a safe and secure base, but it also feels that you work too hard. Maybe that you don't have enough time to smell the roses by yourself, or maybe with it. Yeah, I hear it. You don't take enough time to smell the roses, is what I hear. And in some cases, I hear it could also think that you're too stuck in the past, but it thinks that you're emotionally afflicted on some level or not. And it's like, but it feels, that's what I get with the 4 of Pentacles. Actually, I get with the 4 of Wands. It feels that you create a stable, like a stable basis for it. So I get that's the form reversed, but it also feels, okay, it feels that you have a stable base for it, like a stable, home life, if you will. It's a funny thing to say, but you create for it a stable home life, and you feed it every day, you water it. It feels like you're very responsible, and you never neglect its needs. But it also feels that you're a bit unstable as well. Interesting. You create a stable base for it, but it feels that you may be a bit unstable at times as well too. It doesn't feel that you're always in the place that you should be, and even though you create stability for it, it feels like you're not always in the place or the stable place. It feels maybe that a move, I'm not saying this is going to resonate with everybody, it feels that a move is in order, and it almost like, it feels like it's overseeing this, but my sense is it doesn't really get the full picture. It's interesting to see for a pet, but it's like it doesn't. it doesn't see the full picture, even though it thinks it does. It's interesting. So maybe it's a little arrogant, right? Like it thinks it knows everything about you, but it doesn't quite get you completely. Like, so there's some pets that totally, like, they totally get their owners, but I'm hearing it loves you, but it doesn't quite get you. It's like you're a bit of a mystery to it. Interesting. Interesting. Um, but it's very puzzled by you. I'm hearing it's very puzzled, and it sees you as being fortune. It sees that you create good fortune for it. It feels that way, and joyfulness. It sees it. What I'm getting is that, yeah, it sees that you create good joyfulness and fortune for it, but it's like it would like you to see you in some cases have that joyfulness for yourself, and it would like you to have a bit more frivolity and less seriousness. But that's from a perspective of a pet, right? So it's may or may not be true. So what else too? In death, interesting. It feels that without, and it may not be able to articulate this in the same human capacity, but it sees that a change is in order for your structure. Like I said, it likes the structure you provide, but it sees you having a different structure, and it would like to go wherever you go. So yeah, I'm getting interesting. This pet is not afraid of change, which is interesting because a lot of pets that are very afraid of change, particularly cats. They can sometimes, dogs too, but they can be like, oh, another change, and it takes them a while to settle. But I'm hearing that this pet is not afraid of change. It sees you as needing to expand a little bit more, like into something else perhaps. And yeah, it sees you as working. What's interesting, I got the two of the work related cards. It sees you're focused on something, the Seven of Pentacles and Three of Pentacles in reverse, but it's like, what is that it's thinking? What is it that you're so focused on that perhaps takes away attention from me? Let's see if I can get a little bit more about this cat. This cat, as the cat came up with dog too. The Hanged Man. Yeah, it would like to see you make some sort of spiritual change. And it may not be able to articulate this, but it sees you as having a different structure. I mean, it sees you as wanting to have the world. It wants you to have the world. Well, this is what it sees you as having a very narrow corner of the world, whereas you could have the whole world. It's thinking you could have the whole world. It's thinking, but you're only having so it's a very expansive. It almost has Sagittarius energy, but it's sort of like putting it on you. Like, it doesn't necessarily want to change for itself, or though it might a little bit, but it's sort of like it sees you as an avenue for expansion. And it's sort of, I see it kind of behind you, and you're trying to get you, so its goal or its mission may be to get you to expand on sort of an emotional and spiritual level. That's sort of you know, like mission or something like that. Let's see what we get for what does it think? What does it think? And I'm speak up. It wants you to it sees you as wanting to speak up and sort of expand more into the world, and sort of expand your focus, right? So I see it as kind of it doesn't seem to want much for itself. Like, it almost feels like it has the stable base it wants from you, but it wants you to up level for yourself. It's like, it seems like make necessary sacrifice. So it feels like a sacrificial animal, almost, that wants only the best for you. It doesn't really. It feels like it wants you to sort through what you want and what you don't want. It feels like a very sacrificial animal, if that makes sense. Not like, that sounds funny. Not sacrificial. Not that it wants to be a sacrifice or anything, but sort of like that. It wants you to expand. It wants you to move forward. It wants you to, like, expand and be the best that you can be. And it feels that if you do that, its life will be. So it's almost a little bit codependent. Face your shadow. Yeah, it wants you to up level in some way and face face what would make your life better. I hear it wants you to really better your life, but not for its own sake, for your own. So it's yeah, it's very much, and it's encouraging. Sometimes it may be whispering things as you sleep, if that makes sense. And maybe it's interesting, an image I got. If it's a cat in particular, it could, it's a general meaning, but it may be whispering ideas, entering your dream world even as you sleep. Interesting. It's does a lot of work on you in some cases. Interesting. So that's what we've got with pile number one, about what your pet thinks about you. Now let's go to pile number two, the red flashlight pile. What does your pet think about you? Okay, the Page of Pentacles, King of Wands, interesting. Wow, Queen of Wands. That is quite uh interesting. Eight of Cups. So I'm getting, and the King of Pentacles. Interesting. This is a super interesting pile. Red flashlight pile. So super interesting because okay, I'll show you what we got here. We got make sure this is on the frame, so I'll move this up a little bit. So, super interesting. We've got the King of Wands beside the Queen of Wands in reverse, the Eight of Cups, which I call kind of a spiritual seeking card. But at the end and the beginning, we've got the Page of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. So what I'm hearing is that it sees you as, because, oh, interesting. What I'm being drawn to first is the Page of Pentacles at the beginning and the King of Pentacles at the end. It sort of, it feels that it's seeing itself through you, through a journey, and it feels you, it like sees your journey to be very interesting. It likes to watch your journey more than you think. Your spiritual journey. It sees you as being on a very spiritual journey. And it sees you being from the Page of Pentacles is the very beginning. Like there's four, if you know about tarot, right? There's tarot, um there's different suits. There's the page, the knight, the queen, and the king for one, like the pentacle suit, the wand suit, the water suit, or the cup suit. I call it the water suit. And so the page is at the very beginning, and the King of Pentacles is at the very end. So it's interesting. We've got at the very beginning of the spread the Page of Page of Pentacles, and at the very end we've got the King of Pentacles. Super interesting. It's a very interesting pile. So it's sort of like it sees you as, and we've got the spiritual, it sees you as a spiritual journey. It sees itself as, it sort of feels like it entered your life at the beginning of a phase of your spiritual journey, and it's helping you get to the end, I'm hearing. And I'm hearing that in a lot of cases, you're very much almost to the end and of something. And it sees itself as watching you, but oftentimes being a um being part of it as well too, being part of it, but also watching it. And it finds it very intriguing and interesting is what I'm hearing. It really likes to watch. It could be a cat, because cats are very much silent watcher. It could be a dog as well. I'm hearing also could be a bird too. It could also, it's interesting, I think, like it could be like an exotic pet or a bird that's been around you for like many. It could be like being. It could have been. If I'm hearing different words, it could be have been around your life for like a long time. Or it could be, and it could be a past pet too that's been around you from a long time, and it may have reincarnated again, or just in this life it's been around, like from Page of Pentacles to King of Pentacles, a long time. So it could have, I'm hearing in some cases it could have reincarnated 3 times throughout your life, and so it's seeing you from a child to much older in some cases, right? It's seen such an expanse of your growth in some cases. But I'm hearing in some cases it could have been into with you in a short time, where it's seen that in a short period of time your growth. So a long period of time, Page of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, or a short period of time. Interesting. And through it sees you very much in a spiritual journey, which I guess all journeys are in a sense. And it wants to see you complete this spiritual journey. Sometimes it sees you as being kind of stuck. And we've got the King of Wands wanting to move forward. It sort of sees you as almost a little, and I don't want to sound this offensive, but it sees you as kind of being a little bit and not, it won't resonate for everybody, right? But it's like it's a different thread here. Sometimes it feels that your male and female sides are imbalanced, or your yin and yang, something like either you're too powerful or not powerful enough. It's like it sees you. It would like you to see you step into your power in a balanced way, and to be balanced, have the Queen of Pentacles. It would like to see these energies of moving forward. It also sees you as moving forward, stopping, moving forward, stopping. It's like you can't get these expansive energies together, and it tries to help you with this. It tries to, and it feels, I guess, that your root chakra is not um, exactly balanced, and so it tries to help you with that. But I'm hearing sometimes, in not in all cases, but in some cases, its root chakra is not balanced either. So it's sort of like you're kind of, I'm not saying this isn't, I'm hearing this is for maybe 30, 35, 40% of people who pick this reading, this particular thing. But I'm hearing that you don't always have a balanced root chakra, but it doesn't either. So it's like you're both trying to help each other out, but you're both kind of in the same imbalanced energy in some cases. But in some cases, I'm hearing it's more balanced than you, and it's trying to cause you to be balanced so you can sort of complete this spiritual journey. Or it's like I said, been around with you for a long, since you were a page of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles. But a lot of times it's trying to root, because the Pentacles is about stability, so it's trying to root a sense of like emotional, spiritual, and physical stability into this realm. It really wants to do that for you and for itself. So it sort of craves stability, but it craves that you have that stability as well. So it's like you may be, we both may be sort of in a state of instability and trying to access that spiritual. You may be, I'm hearing in some cases, you may be on the same journey trying to create this sort of stability, this emotional stability, trying to find yourself at the same time. But sometimes it's ahead of you and it's more stable than you, trying to create this stable balance for your passion, because it sees you have a lot of passion. So it wants you to ground this passion. Okay, and I'm hearing another thing. It wants to ground this passion of the King of Wands, Queen of Wands. Interesting that they're both together. They're a lot of passion, both the King and the Queen, which are, you know, similar with those energies. It wants you to ground this into a spiritual state. It wants you to come together in some way and ground these energies into a spiritual state. The pet wants you to be whole. It wants nothing more than you to be whole and complete some sort of journey and just be whole spiritually. It wants nothing more than that for you. Interesting for in some cases. Let's see something else. Let's see if I can get something 3, 4, 5 from the Gypsy Oracle deck. I got 5 from the bottom. We'll see what that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll see what that malady. Yeah, it wants to see sort of a healing of some sort of emotional malady. That's what it may have come into your life partially for that purpose, partially to for its own means, because it just enjoys your company. But I'm hearing that, yeah, it just enjoys your company. So it sort of came into your life because joy. It enjoys your company. It wants to be near you because it's been in a lot of cases around you for a long time, many lifetimes, which is often the case. But a lot of times the partial side of it is it wants to help you heal some sort of emotional malady. An old woman, interesting old woman. So I'm hearing that in some cases it intends to be, it already has had it's been around you for your entire life, or it tends to be around to come back to you again and again and again in this life. And it'll find a way to do that. The pets always do. If they want to come into your life again, they'll find a way. Um, to do so, or either on the other side, or interesting is that I pulled the priest, as I said, either on the other side, or so I'm hearing that I'm hearing something else. It may have a counterpart that you felt on the other side, because I pulled priest just as I said the other side. So it's sort of like it may like have a counterpart on the other side, which is telling it what to do, and it's connected to the spiritual realm, so it gets information about how to help you. Not that it's necessary, or it could be your guide, but it's sort of like it's getting information about how to help you on the other side, how to help you best. What are some other things it wants to help you with? But I'm hearing it just didn't go. It's face your shadow. Interesting. It's helping you heal and integrate and face your shadow, digesting your energy, claim your art. It could be helping you claim your art. But I'm getting it's coming to your life not just to help you, but it's sort of like it just enjoys your company. So it's sort of like a simple energy of just it enjoys. It helps. It wants to kind of help you move beyond your pain. That it wants to do that, but it's sort of take the lead. Take the lead. It wants to help you take the lead. Um, wants to help you forgive and forget. So release and transmit these kind of energies, and I may try and do that. Like I hear it kind of goes express your joy, and that's the ultimate thing it wants to do is express. That's the overall theme of it. Well, wants to do express your joy. But I'm hearing that it's sort of sorry, my throat is kind of. Just get a drink of water. I just when you're talking, you just start to know need water. But it's sort of like it. It wants to help you, but it's just it feels joy of being around you. I'm hearing no matter what state you're in, whether you're a dark side or a light side, it finds you very interesting. Very, I'm hearing, and I can't stress how interesting it finds you. You know, you may not realize how interesting it finds you. Like it likes to watch you. It likes to. I'm thinking this. I'm thinking this actually might be the pile for the my cat that you. If you watch my channel, my cat shows up. She's by the window now watching the birds, so she's not, really in this reading. But oftentimes she shows up. But I feel this may be my pile for my particular kitty cat. So, but yeah, that's what we've got for pile number 2. I think that makes it complete. I feel that makes it complete. I hope you enjoyed that. Maybe check out my other readings. Maybe give it a like, comment if this resonated, and yeah, maybe check out my other readings and see what you think about them, and if yeah, check out the playlist section because I've got a whole bunch of different playlists. So check those out and see if it was worth it for you to subscribe. But that's all we've got for pile number 2. I hope you enjoyed that and have a good day. All right, hello, pile number 3, the green flashlight pile. What does your pet, past or present? So it could be a pet, could be a deceased pet, or and sometimes they're reincarnations, right? So there could be another that happens very very similarly. But wow, super interesting. I'm putting out these cards, super interesting. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, yeah, I got a bit more cards for this particular spread for some reason, but let's see if I can get them all on the thread in the frame. So, wow, we've got very much king energy. This is crazy actually, crazy. So, well, not crazy, but interesting crazy, if that makes any sense. But we've got I think my cat. Oh yeah, my cat is arriving. My cat has arrived for this particular pile. Super interesting because we've got 3 kings here. We've got 3 major arcana, and they're all kings. The King of Pentacles, King of Cups, and the King of Swords. So I think it's pretty clear that your pet thinks of you as a king. So what I'm getting from that is that it thinks of you as a master on so many different levels. It thinks of you as I get that this is all upright here. I get intuitive that this is all right. That you're and I get that it has a very, a very, a very strong sense of respect for you as a master, as a like, because the King of Pentacles, it sees you as a physical master. It sees you as an very emotionally mature, very mental. It sees you as very wise, very well put together. Even the word handsome. I heard you very. It sees you as very handsome, and that's a very strange thing to say because yeah, I don't. But it sees you as very worldly handsome and very has the great admirance and respect. So maybe you were a king in another life. I don't know. And it was, yeah. I'm seeing that maybe you were. I'm seeing an image of maybe you were a pharaoh in another life, and it was your cat that had this energy of it has immense respect for you. And if you don't know in past, like cats were very revered in Egypt. They were very. It's actually a crime to kill cats in Egypt in the past, and they were given the utmost respect. They're almost considered gods. So it's sort of like I see this energy, but it almost sees you as a god. This is so. I just see it as being just such a king like energy. It's just. I'm hearing it could not do enough for you. It could not. It's almost strange. It's almost obsessed with you is what I'm hearing. That your pet is almost it may, I'm saying in some cases it may, if you have a significant other, it may be a little bit jealous of some, in some cases. It's like it wants to make sure that your wonderful light is that it gets enough of your wonderful light. It just has such a wonderful, it just cannot get enough of you. It's almost obsessed with you. Interesting. And it sees its role in your life is very distinct, and it doesn't want anything to upset that role. It doesn't want anything um, to doesn't want anything to upset like the role that you have in its life, or the role that you it really, so yeah, it wouldn't appreciate it. What I'm hearing is that if there's any kind of change, I hear, yeah, with the Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Wands, it's sort of like if there's any kind of change, do not cast it out, or do not make it feel like it is cast out in any way, because if you do that, like if you do some, and what I'm hearing is if you do some sort of change in your life, make sure to give, well, here with the Temperance card, make sure to give it some extra attention, because it doesn't really, in any kind of change makes it a little nervous, and you want to, if you make any sort of change, move in with someone, live somewhere else, whatever that is, make sure to give it lots of love and lots of attention and lots of soothing, and make it feel soothed, make it feel loved. Just do something to quell its emotions, and make it feel like sort of, yeah, secure is what I'm hearing. Make it feel secure, quell its emotions. It may sometimes feel a little bit insecure and anxious, and I'm hearing that it feels, but yeah, it has a huge amount of admirance and respect for you, and it sees itself sometimes as its guide and a part of what you bring forth into this reality. It sees you patiently waiting to create something. It may feel that what you do is very important. It may in some cases not know what you do, but I'm hearing in some cases it does know what you do. You may have like some sort of something in finance, or something, I hear it's stockbroker or something that it may see you as that. It sees you as doing something very, very important, or a therapist, or a counselor, or a what do you call it, it sees you, and I'm not saying you're necessarily a politician, but it sees you as that way. Maybe you were before, but you know, like it sees you as being like a politician, or I don't even know, it sees you as doing that, like having very important meetings that it sort of wants to watch or be a part of. Like it almost feels important being in your light, like being in your glow. It sees you, and this could be, I'm hearing this could be a energy from a past life, but it could be it sees you, even if you have, I'm hearing, even if you have Zoom meetings like with people, it could be Zoom meetings at work. It sees itself, it might watch you and think, oh, yeah, I'm hearing Zoom meetings are so important, and it just, anytime you have it just watches and thinks like, oh, this is so important. Like I'm hearing it may exaggerate the importance of your Zoom business meetings, even if it's business meetings with family. It's like, oh, it's so important. It's just so, what my owner is doing is just so important. Priest, it almost may see you as like a priest, like having that role of importance, if you will. Not that you're necessarily a priest, but having that thought. Like it sees you as somebody who's always deep in thought, and it thinks, what are you thinking? What are you planning in this reality? And it watches you with such awe and respect. Pleasure seekers, interesting. It sees you as very emotionally disciplined, somebody who doesn't seek pleasures. It's like it sees you as this like very disciplined person. It may or may not be the case. Like it could be further from the truth, but it sees you as like you're always on an important mission that just involves nothing frivolous. It thinks like it's nothing you do is frivolous. Like it thinks like it's almost like I keep on getting that it's just nothing that you do is frivolous, and it thinks that everything you do is of the utmost importance, and it's of great, like it sees almost like I hear it thinking that you change the wheel of fate in the world. It sees you as somebody who's so that important that you change the fate of the whole world. It sees that the whole fate of the world is on your shoulders. Very strange. This pet is feeling very strange to me actually. But yeah, that's okay. But yeah, it sees that you're changing the fate with your. It almost feels that like every movement that you do, every Zoom meeting, like is just changing the fate. Like the like it almost sees you as a super like the whole world's fate hinges on your Zoom meetings. It thinks. Ace of Pentacles so important. The world's fate like just and what does it try to help you with or thinks it helps you with or does help you with? Let's see, what does it see? Be open to love. It wants you to be open to love as well too, but I'm also hearing that it wants to make sure that it's not cast out. It follows this fear of being cast out, and I'm hearing that maybe you had it before. You maybe you had this pet before, and it's like it felt very cast out, and something may have happened. You may have had to forced to leave it behind or something, and it felt very just cast out. That's what I get with this card, cast out. It felt very, but it wants to help you be open to love and express your joy. It sees that maybe you could create a little bit, like I almost feel like you have maybe dark starseed Syrian energy to you, right? If you maybe look that up, the Syrian or Sirius, yeah, Sirius or Syrian starseed. I hear. Maybe you should look that up. And it sees you having that energy. It wants you to have that energy of joy and being open to love in various forms. So that's how it sees you too. It really although it admires the seriousness of your work, as it would refer to it. It wants you to have a lot of a lighthearted, but it does not want to be cast out. I see this image. If it was very actually angry, because you may have had it as a child, and something happened where it was cast out, or it wasn't. And this may not resonate for everybody, but it was not able to be around you like it wanted to. Something happened that was very traumatizing in a past life for it, because oftentimes they reincarnate several times, and it does not want to be cast out again. It's very sensitive to being cast out and not important or not secure. Like, so you may want to give this pet some reassurance that it is indeed loved and nothing's going to happen. You may want to tell it nothing will happen to our relationship, whatever happens. You may want to give it a lot of reassurance and tell it, like, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. I'm here for you, like the strength card. Like, you may want to give it the energy of the strength card. I'm here for you. I'm here for you to through thick and thin. There's no frivolity here. There's no frivolity, because something may have happened. I'm hearing in some cases it may have been out of your control, like when you were younger, or some situation you were out of your control. It may have tried to reincarnate you. Something happened where something was not to its liking in another, and so. But it's here. Just give it some reassurance. Learn about pet telepathy. Maybe learn about pet connections. Like maybe Amelia Kincaid. You want to maybe you want to look that up and see how can you connect to it. And we give it reassurance. I'm hearing some telepathy with your pet. Some healing telepathy is what it needs. But yeah, that's all we've got. I hope you can check out my other readings. See if you wish to subscribe. Check out the playlist section. I cover a variety of topics like pets, narcissists, dreams, just a whole bunch of different other topics. So check that out. See if it's worth it for you to subscribe. And yeah, that's all we've got for pile number 3. Now it is time for pile number 4. Hello, pile number 4. The last but not least, the orange flashlight pile. Let's see what we have for your. What does your pet think about you? Interesting. What does your pet think about you? Interesting. So we've got the orange flashlight pile. I like the orange color here. Let's see, what do we have? We've got the Five of Swords, the Moon in reverse, the nine of the Nine of Cups, the Five of Pentacles, and the Gateway to Meditation. So your pet sees you as having a lot of inner conflict right now, which it is really trying to help you with, is what I'm hearing. It really, really wants to. It may even have been sent. Yes, I'm hearing it's been sent in to help you resolve your inner conflict and to also heal your inner child, because the orange can very much about childlike creativity. So it really wants to bring an energy of healing your trauma. That's what I'm hearing. It wants to heal your trauma. That's the specific purpose that it's coming to your life for. And it's sort of like it sees that there's the moon, that there's something unhealed within you that it really wants to balance you out for. And so a sort of a sense of, we got the Five of Swords, because this can be a very painful, afflictive card. And it's sort of like, and then we've got the Five of Wands. So it's like an inner conflict, I'm hearing. Because, the reverse can go inward. And the moon, it's like almost like you may be in some cases afraid to go inward. And it wants to, so basically your pet's goal is to heal. And I'm hearing that once it accomplishes its goal, I'm seeing then it can almost relax and be almost be a pet again, is what I'm hearing. It's like once uh its goal has been accomplished, it can feel, once it feels that you're completely emotionally satisfied. We've got the Nine of Cups in the middle. It's sort of like once it feels that you're satisfied and happy, it feels that it can be happy. And I'm feeling that once you make a shift within yourself, it will feel a shift within itself, and it will feel like I'm hearing it. All it wants to do is to make you happy, and it goes into your dreams. I hear it sort of very much goes into your dreams. It takes on the 3 or 4 spiritual beings or guides. It sort of takes on their instructions, and it does actions to help you up level in some way. But I feels like it's trying to work on that your emotional body every night, and it wants to create a completely different energy field within you. That's its goal. Its goal is to create a completely different energy field on you, and it's working tirelessly on that, almost like tirelessly. It goes into meditation, it gets information, like it goes into meditation itself a lot. I'm seeing this pet, and so it may have a more of a quiet spiritual energy, your particular pet, but almost it's a pet that's almost a chameleon, and it changes a lot in regards to it, almost like it changes in order to, I'm getting an interesting image, to corral you into a particular emotional state. It's almost like a chameleon that its whole goal, it feels like, is to corral you into emotional state. So it's kind of an interesting pet, and it's very much go. It's almost, it could even speak to angelic beings, I'm hearing, or different. It's almost human like, I'm hearing in some cases. It's almost like a human like, or it talks to humans. It can get some very human like information on the other side to try and help you. And it wants to heal your emotional state, and once it creates the ideal emotional state in you, it feels that it will not feel defeated anymore, and it will not feel that inner conflict itself. Interesting. So the 3 from the bottom I combined 2 tarot decks so the Empress. It's trying to it's trying to create it's trying to help you birth something into the world. It could be a new business, a new way of thinking, a very it's very expansive and spiritual, this pet. Interesting. But it's interesting because it has a very expansive, it wants you to be a pleasure seeker and feel contented in life, just like this Nine of Cups. It wants you to feel contented. It wants to almost converse with you at a human level, and I'm hearing it could have been a human. It could have been a human. It could have been. I'm hearing you may have known it as like a human level, and you had a very strong friendship, and it's sort of like, yeah. I'm hearing you almost. It's almost like a human. It's almost like you see it as your equal. It's equal. That's what I'm hearing with this card right here. Almost like an equal, and it's like you almost feel like in some cases it's not really a pet, and you could be right about that in some cases. But it has a very strong faithfulness to you. It feels like it would be. It feels almost like it could, in some cases, give its life to you. It's so faithful to you, and it's so faithful to your growth. Um, it feels like it's so faithful to your growth that it would basically it would just dedicate itself to you completely for some reason. Interesting, different threads, but yeah, very wise. Express your joy. It wants you, yeah, and I'm hearing that's the one thing. It wants you to express your joy, heal your trauma, and it does that by almost just corralling you two into a direction by getting information from three or four spiritual beings. I'm hearing like Buffa or Buff Bear, something that starts with some being that starts with Buff Bear. It starts with a B. I can't quite pronounce it. Buff Barshar, or Burfra, something like that. But I don't know if I'm saying that exactly. Burfra, yeah. I don't know, but it starts with a B. Interesting. So yeah, it's super. Um, it's a very complex and service. So that's what I'm getting. It feels like it would serve you to the end of days. Like even if there was a nuclear, not to say there is, but even I'm getting its image. Even if there was a nuclear war and the world was ravaged by zombies, it would stay with you and protect you to the very end. So yeah, be very lucky. Feel very lucky to have this pet in your life. It's very it doesn't I'm hearing it doesn't expect much. It doesn't expect much from you. It only wants you to be happy. It just that's all it wants to do. It sees you as a good person, and it only wants you to be happy. Is what I hear. Is that it only wants you to be it only wants you to be happy and to feel good about yourself is what I'm hearing. It only wants you to feel good about yourself, and it wants you to make room for good things in your life. It wants you to make room for good things in your life, and cheerfulness. Yeah, cheerfulness that came up before, but in a different way, I think. But yeah, it makes you want to make room for cheerfulness and sort of emotional love and health in your life. It just wants to, but it works, like I said, it works with these three or four beings. But yeah, I hear be lucky to have this pet in your life. It will stay with you through thick and thin, no matter what. It will stay with you, and it doesn't expect much. Interesting, because there's some creatures that expect a lot. Nothing wrong with that, but this one doesn't seem to expect much. I hear this pet doesn't expect much, but it deserves the world because of its steadfastness and its loyalty towards you. Interesting. So, yeah, that's what we've got for pile number 4. I hope you enjoyed that. Maybe subscribe if you want to. Check out my other videos. See if there's other videos that are of value to you, and if that's the case, then maybe you can subscribe. Anyway, that is all we have to say. I hope you have a terrific day. Bye bye.